Make the most of what you are given.
Listen properly.
Make the most of what you are given. Make the most of what you are given. Therapeutic characteristics: problem addressed, fear and panic, being stuck in a difficult place, feeling helpless and hopeless. Resources developed, using what is available, looking for alternative solutions, doing what you can in the circumstances, accepting progress in small increments. Outcome offered: lateral thinking, patience, persistence, success. Once upon a time, there was a farmer who had a small farm not far from a country village. He owned very little, but from this small farm he was able to support his family. Of the few things that he did own, one was an old mule. For years, the mule had helped him plough his field, carry his produce into the village, and harnessed to a cart, drive his family to church very sudden Sunday. Drive his family to church every Sunday. The village near where the farmer lived liked to celebrate all the annual festival, and for the coming new year decided to have a firework display. Nobody stopped to think about how this might affect an old mule in a nearby paddock. The mule was standing in his paddock, head dropped toward the ground, eye closed, slumbering peacefully on New Year's Eve, when suddenly the sky exploded with wild flash of light and cannon-like bangs that could have heralded the start of a war. The poor mule, thinking the world was coming to an end, fled in terror, blindly running across the paddock. As it happened, there was an years ago. Normally, the mule would have avoided it with great care, but in the pitch black of the night and overwhelmed by terror, the mule stumbled and fell down the narrow well. Fortunately, he landed unharmed at the bottom. The next day, the farmer was surprised to find his mule missing and began to search around his property. It wasn't long before he heard a faint, echoing bray coming from the depth of the well, and to his dismay found his mule at the bottom. There was no way he could safely climb down to the old well to get to the mule. There wasn't a long enough ladder in the village to reach the bottom, and even if they had been able to get down, how would he get the mule out? He called his farmer friends to help. The thought of rigging up a winch to lower the farmer down to the mule, but the walls of the well were too old and crumbling. It was too risky. Even if they had lowered someone down, how could he attach a harness to lift the mule out in such a small space? The farmers stood around the well, peering down, scratching their heads. It's hopeless, said once. Impossible, said another. He's just going to die a slow, miserable death down there, said a third. Best put him out of his misery. So the farmers picked up some shovels and started it through soil down the well to bury the mule. At the bottom of the well, the mule felt this weird stuff like dry rain falling on his back. He gave himself a shake and the soil fell around his hooves. The mule stomped around a little and soil hardened underneath his hooves. More soil fell on his back. He shook it off and again stamped around some more. He was surprised to find that after doing this for a while, the bottom of the well had risen an inch or two. He was looking at the well, a little higher than he had been before. The more soil of the farmer shoveled in, the more the mule shook it off and trampled it firm under his hooves, and the higher the rose up toward the surface, bit by bit. Yes, as you have guessed, the mule eventually made his way to the top and was saved.
भाई लाइट नहीं आ रही बत्तियां बंद करो क्लोज कर दो